Hello everyone and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. As you can see, I have been rather busy over the past couple days. I was working on our trailer for our kind of command center here on the live stream a little bit on Monday, and it's complicated. It's a lot of moving parts. It's heavy. In fact, if I try and get it even close to the semi right now, our FPS will pretty much tank. And that's just because of all the blocks in use. And so what I'm going to end up having to do is, like normal, slowly replace blocks as we sculpt the thing out and get everything working. So we have a door. The door looks good. I have to say, it looks very kind of blast resistant and heavy duty. A temporary button here, which will open it up. It almost looks like a bank vault, just how thick it is, because it is 2 blocks thick. And it's a pretty standard door. You can fit in just fine. Now, the first thing you walk into as you get in the trailer is this room, which isn't fully organized just yet, but it will be soon. And these 3 buttons. And as you can see, there's a bunch of blocks in here that will hopefully unfold correctly. Never know with this thing. The front end with the hitch, we're going to have to work on the hitch at some point as well. We have a little kickstand so the trailer doesn't fall over. And yeah, so let's go ahead and show you guys what I have so far. It's quite a complicated mechanism. As you can see, we're using 4 controllers already. A lot of little bearings in here. So these 2 side ones, they fold out the sides of the command center. And then the center, I kind of wiggle it a little bit. There we go. Opens up, and we have a wider trailer than we started with. It's a fairly straightforward system. Down here you can see our pistons, our rotators that we use to get some extra length. I think it buys us 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 blocks on each side, so a total of 8 wide extra, which is pretty good in terms of space. Yep, don't want to get stuck there. And so this episode, we are going to be working on, hopefully, getting some good progress made. Where is my wiring tool? I need to see where that bearing is set up and how that's set up. I think it's set up like that. That joint. Let's check. Yeah, it looks like it. So it kind of goes out here a block. So it's going to do this maneuver. And that's going to give us some width to allow for another bend where we need it. In which case, we just drag that out like so. And we have our little panel here. Now I'm going to have to drag these bearings to this left button, which is there. And as you can see, this thing is a mass of just colors and lines and craziness going on here. It's a little hard to get track of, but at some point what I'm going to end up doing is this will all function off of one switch, and that one switch is going to trigger other things to line up in front of sensors, and then once that hits the sensor, it'll essentially trigger all of these control blocks at once. So let's look forward to that. I don't know how it'll work, but hopefully it does. I really just don't know. Okay. So let's go ahead and close up the middle. You have to do this in a specific order so it all folds up nicely. And if you close up one side, you can see what it does here. Essentially it loads out, and then the side floors kind of drop out. And that section of the wall disappears, and then this section folds to make the corner. It's quite the beast. Now, you can see This one isn't set just yet, so we need to take the 8 and rotate it to the red 90 degrees. Okay. And then the 9, 90 the opposite way, to essentially cancel out the movement. Or am I going to have to send that to the red as well? It's a little awkward. There we go. So that matches that side now. I just love watching this thing unfold. It's very... Except for this little middle part here. I might have to think of another way to do the middle. I could... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do the middle here. But I know as soon as I hit everything up into one switch, this whole collision thing is going to be a bit of a problem. But, well, it's folded out. It looks rather nice. This is wrong, and I don't know why it broke. I think I need to set its default angle. That's probably the issue. So that's, yeah, that's not moving. So the 8 needs to default. I think we just give it to the opposite treatment here. Oh, well, we set the default angle as the movement. That's the issue. This far left column here is your default position. So let's try that. Okay, well, doesn't really want to work like that. Let's try something a little bit different. Let's try this. This might work. Yep. Sometimes bearings just take some finagling with to try and get it to work the way you want. Cool. Alright. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this thing done in one episode. That's going to be quite a tall order to fulfill. But what I do want to do is try and at least figure out what to make this low wall out of. I'm thinking if I can make it too wide, just like the door, that might look pretty boss. So if we do something like that, and that, let's see how that affects the door. Everything that we add on to it, I have to test. Make sure the sliding motion still works. See if we can't squeeze in 3 here. We connect. As you can see, that's what we're going to run into. All right. Can I these under it, possibly? That would be cool if I could. And maybe I'm gonna grab a staircase here. We'll put windows that'll open up maybe over these blue bits, as they seem to be a very stable section. Alright, that's probably not going to fold up nicely, but we had to test it, so. No, it doesn't. That'll work. At least for us for now. You know, I can also maybe get away with doing something like this. I don't want to use too much orange, as it's just overused, I think, at this point. I'm going to see if I can get the trailer to be a little bit more blue in color. That might look nice. Need to think of something to fit in the middle of this. I could technically fit a warning sign. That might be kind of nice, actually. Not too bad. Now this part moves, so we can't really do much on that. Let's see if we can't fit something though. So I would like to frame this section just so it's not quite sticking out as much. Oh, that's a moving part right there. Here, I'll just show you what that looks like if I try and move it. Oh. It behaved. Kinda. Everything is broken. Everything is broken. Ugh. Come on. Get out of there. Maybe the orange bits will be the best, after all. The compromises you have to make everything kind of transform are pretty heavy. There we go. Yeah, it won't be too bad doing that. Oh, now it's stuck on this side. Okay. Gotta wiggle it occasionally, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work there. I think that was probably the problem. Now, try and replace some of this wall behind here. Something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
User left your channel.
And that was TeamSpeak. I'll just shut that off here in a second. Joy. Okay. How is this thing tied on? Is this going to break it all? Yep! There it goes! Bollocks. Oh man, this is tough, guys. The whole removing bits and then making sure things are working. But at the moment, this is kind of where we are at, since I accidentally kind of cut off this section. I've reattached it. I've added some more detail, and things are coming along nicely right now. It's still a lot of testing and running back and forth, making sure things are going to fit. I'm going to have to do a special joint for the outer kind of details right there. But yeah, as soon as we finish one side, the other side is just going to be a mirror, so it won't be too bad. So I'll have to run back and forth and still test things constantly. But the overall design will be done at that point. As you can see, I replaced some of the metal bits here with just our standard kind of, I guess, railing blocks. It looks pretty cool. Looks almost like ventilation. And we'll have to decide how these windows are going to work at some point. What I've noticed that kind of helps with building in general is trying to keep things vertical. So you build something on top of the same block, and in doing so, what you can do is kind of lock in pieces, and they're going to move as just one giant section in a vertical manner. Yeah, that's no good. What is causing that? Let's try hitting it with a hammer. Sometimes hitting it with a hammer reveals things, or sometimes it just doesn't. There we go. It's starting to get pretty heavy for that hinge, which is not really good. The one thing I wanted to try and avoid is making the roof upper half come out on a separate piece as well, as we'll get some disconnecting joints and things. So that's something we're gonna have to watch out for as these parts get heavier and heavier. You know, I'm thinking it might be cool to have some sort of ventilation kind of covering here for part of our window. Doesn't really line up great though. Well, that angle works. So I just decide how to frame it at that point, which we might be able to use these kind of lighter blocks here just fine. Yeah, something like that might work. Then something like that. That's gonna be a little rough as well. Mainly because of this section here, just doesn't line up quite fully. So this is the problem you're gonna run into in creative games when you have all these detail pieces, and they are great. Don't get me wrong. They're, in fact, a joy to build with because it's so different than kind of everything else. You kind of start making compromises, though. As things don't really measure out always. So that's a little window. The nice thing too is we can put a controller kind of here. Ooh, that looks cool. It's almost like the electricity is going up to that battery source, and we can grab a button. And I'm gonna try and decorate the interior. It's gonna be pretty hard to do it, but I feel like we'll be able to. So this needs to open towards the red. Nice 45-degree angle when activated. Let's try and give it a little bit more. Let's give it 105 so it actually opens upwards. That might be cool. Or because it didn't save for some reason. There we go. So that's a neat little framed window at some point. Now that's going to affect the weight, of course, so we're going to have to test this yet again. Oh wow, this is going to be one of the coolest things to build. It's probably going to be a multiple episode like normal. And really, I'll try my best to try and get a lot of the mechanics working in between the episodes. That way we can just kind of work on the detailing like we did the semi-truck. That's cool. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it'll be nice to have the two windows open at the same time. Think of something for the roof. I could technically try and make the roof rise up as the sides go out, maybe? I don't know. It's already starting to get pretty complicated. I'll show you real quick what happens when we get the semi-truck close to it. As it's just a sign that the game's still in alpha. If you guys haven't seen how this was built yet, you can go check that out as well. There we go. This is real time. This is how many frames I'm getting. I'm getting 5 FPS. So that is something that'll hopefully change a little bit in the future. Now again, a lot of that FPS is mainly due to how many blocks the trailer is, which is a problem. But as we slowly replace these armor bits and maybe some of the floor eventually, that'll cut down on the block count and make the overall experience more enjoyable. Alright everyone, so I'm going to leave the episode off here. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. If you guys enjoyed the episode, feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and check out my other videos for more creative goodness. Go ahead and leave a like. That's how I know you guys enjoy the series. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode.